Echoes of absence. Imagination is a dead imagination. 5 feet square, 6 feet high. Bare walls, flickering with an unseen light source. In this space I am confined, though I cannot see myself. A theatre stage devoid of actors, save for the shadows that play upon these walls. I sit, though I feel no chair, and the light fades, casting long, uncertain shadows. The walls reflect faces, women's faces, indistinct and merging, one into another. Yoko's face, perhaps, but which one? Her smile, her laugh, the curve of her cheek, all distorted in the flickering light. They gaze at me, through me, around me, a silent chorus of forgotten promises and lost dreams. In the corner, a shabby syntax crouches, a pile of jumbled words and phrases, discarded and meaningless. They whisper to me, fragments of conversations never held, dialogues aborted before birth. The syntax of my thoughts, the language of my memory, all crumbling into disarray. The space, this doorless prison, shifts as my memories ebb and flow. 5 feet square, 6 feet high, or perhaps smaller, perhaps larger. The dimensions stretch and compress, an accordion of recollection and forgetting. Yoko. Was she real, or a figment of this dead imagination? Our love affair, a series of flickers in this dim light, moments of warmth in the cold expanse of solitude. I try to recall her touch, the feel of her hand in mine. But the memory fades, like the light on the chair that is not there. The walls press in, and I struggle to hold on to the fragments. Yoko's voice, a melody lost in the static of silence. Her eyes, searching, pleading, accusing. I cannot remember why. The doorless space, a box of isolation, contracts. I feel it in my bones, the claustrophobic tightening. Or is it expanding, the walls receding into the void, leaving me adrift in an endless sea of grey? My love affair with Yoko, a series of illusions, reflections on the surface of a broken mirror. Imagination is a dead imagination. In this room, this stage, this cell, I am the last person. A monologue with no audience, no beginning, no end. The unseen light flickers, the shadows dance, and the faces of the women blur and fade. Yoko dissolves into the ether, a ghost among ghosts, and I am left alone with my shabby syntax and the echoes of absence. The walls close in, or fall away, I cannot tell. The space is both too small and too vast, a paradox of existence. The light fades, the chair vanishes, and I am left in the darkness, the silence, the void. Yoko, a name without a face, a love without a form, slips from my grasp, and I am left with nothing but the dead imagination. And so, the monologue continues, in the bare-walled space, 5 feet square, 6 feet high, or not. In the bare-walled space, 5 feet square, 6 feet high, or not, the monologue drones on, an incessant hum in the void. I am the speaker and the listener, the narrator and the audience, bound within these ever-shifting walls. Imagination is a dead imagination, and yet, here I am, caught in its final throes. Yoko. A name, a shadow, a fleeting touch of warmth in the cold. The walls are smeared with the faintest hint of her presence, a memory that refuses to solidify. Her laughter, a ghostly echo that reverberates through the silence, mocking my solitude. I reach out, fingers brushing against the air, but she remains just out of reach, a figment of a past that never quite was. The unseen light source flickers, casting erratic shadows that play tricks on my eyes. The chair, once a symbol of respite, now fades into the murk, leaving me to stand or fall within this uncertain space. The faces on the walls, women's faces, merge and twist, a gallery of lost loves and forgotten desires. They speak in silent tongues, their eyes hollow with unspoken words. The shabby syntax in the corner grows, a tangled mass of language that defies comprehension. Words spill forth, broken and jumbled, sentences that start and stop, meanings that slip through my grasp like sand through fingers. I try to piece them together, to form a coherent thought, but the syntax mocks me, a cruel puzzle with no solution. The room, this stage, this cell, changes with the ebb and flow of my mind. One moment, it is a confining box, the next, an endless expanse. The walls breathe, closing in to suffocate, then expanding to an infinite horizon. I am lost within its shifting dimensions, a wanderer in a landscape of my own making. In the darkness, the silence stretches, an endless void where time loses meaning. I remain, a solitary presence in a space that no longer defines itself. Imagination is a dead imagination, yet in this death there is a pulse, faint and persistent, a whisper of existence. Yoko. Her name circles my thoughts like a ghostly refrain. I strain to grasp at fragments, but they dissolve, leaving behind only the echo of her laughter, the shadow of her touch. The void swells, a black sea of forgetfulness, and I am adrift without anchor, without direction. The flickering light, unseen but felt, begins to pulse once more. Dim and weak, it casts faint outlines on the walls that now seem closer, pressing in, a claustrophobic embrace. The chair reappears, a silhouette against the encroaching dark, an invitation to sit, to rest in this ceaseless void. I approach the chair, hesitant, each step an eternity. The walls whisper, a susurrus of voices, women's voices, blending into a single, mournful wail. Yoko's face flashes in the gloom, a fleeting apparition, her eyes meeting mine for a heartbeat before she fades again. I reach out, but there is nothing to grasp, nothing to hold. The shabby syntax lies in the corner, a testament to the disintegration of meaning. Words, phrases, the very fabric of communication, lie in tatters. I kneel before it, sifting through the debris, trying to reconstruct a coherent thought, a memory that holds. But the words slip through my fingers, a language turned to dust. The space shifts again, contracting and expanding, a living thing responding to my turmoil. The light grows stronger, casting harsh, angular shadows that dance and distort. The faces on the walls return, their features sharper, more defined, yet still beyond reach. They speak, but their voices are a cacophony, a dissonance that drowns out understanding. Yoko's face solidifies, her presence stronger now, a beacon in the chaos. Her lips move, forming words I cannot hear, her eyes filled with an emotion I cannot name. Our love affair, a series of disjointed images, flickers in the light. A touch, a kiss, a moment of laughter, all fleeting, all insubstantial. I sit in the chair, the weight of the void pressing down upon me. The space around me undulates, a sea of darkness and light, memory and oblivion. The walls close in, the syntax crumbles, and Yoko's face hovers at the edge of vision, always just beyond reach. Imagination is a dead imagination. Yet, within this death, there is a flicker of life, a stubborn pulse that refuses to fade. The monologue continues, a testament to endurance, to the persistence of thought even in the face of nothingness. The unseen light flickers, casting uncertain shadows, and the void hums with the resonance of forgotten memories. The space, this ever-changing prison, holds me in its grasp. I am the last person, the final voice in an endless silence. The light dims, the shadows deepen, and I wait. For what, I do not know. Perhaps for Yoko to return, for the dead imagination to spark once more, for the cycle to begin anew. In the darkness, I remain. A solitary figure in a space without end, without beginning. The walls whisper, the light flickers, and the monologue goes on. Imagination is a dead imagination, but in its death, there is a spark of something more. A hope, a dream, a memory of Yoko. And so, I wait, adrift in the void, for the echo of her presence, the light of a new beginning. In the void, time stretches into an indeterminate expanse. I wait, feeling the ebb and flow of my thoughts, the flickers of what once was and might yet be. The unseen light pulses intermittently, casting fleeting moments of clarity upon the shifting walls of my prison. Imagination is a dead imagination. Yet, the echoes of Yoko persist, faint whispers in the darkness. I close my eyes, seeking her in the fragments of my mind. Her laughter, soft and melodic, intertwines with the silence, a lullaby for the lost. The space around me quivers, a subtle vibration, as if responding to my longing. The chair beneath me solidifies, a tangible anchor in the ever-changing void. I grip its edges, feeling the rough texture beneath my fingertips, grounding myself in this tenuous reality. The faces on the walls begin to coalesce, forming a tableau of memories. Yoko's face, distinct and clear, emerges from the haze. Her eyes, deep and searching, meet mine with a familiarity that cuts through the void. She smiles, a bittersweet curve of her lips, a memory too real to be forgotten. In the corner, the shabby syntax shifts, a mound of words and phrases that yearn for meaning. I rise from the chair, drawn to the tangled mess, and sift through the broken remnants of language. Words form and dissolve, sentences half-born and dying in the same breath. I piece them together, a puzzle of meaning and memory, seeking coherence in the chaos. Yoko, I whisper, my voice a fragile thread in the silence. The walls seem to listen, the space around me tightening in anticipation. Her name, a mantra, a beacon, guides me through the void. The unseen light brightens, casting a warm glow upon the jumbled syntax, illuminating fragments of our shared past. I see us, in moments of clarity, walking hand in hand through sunlit fields, sharing whispered secrets beneath a starlit sky. Her laughter, her touch, her presence, all vivid and real, defy the darkness that surrounds me. The void trembles, and for a moment, the walls dissolve, leaving me suspended in the memory of her embrace. The space contracts, pulling me back to the present. The walls reassert themselves, cold and unyielding, but Yoko's face remains, a persistent ghost. Her eyes, filled with longing, seem to ask a question I cannot answer. I reach out, my hand passing through the flickering image, and she fades once more into the shadows. Imagination is a dead imagination. But in this death, I find a spark of life, a pulse that refuses to be extinguished. The monologue continues, an unending stream of words and thoughts, a testament to the endurance of memory. The unseen light flickers, casting uncertain shadows, and the void hums with the resonance of forgotten dreams. I sit once more in the chair, the weight of the void pressing down upon me. The syntax in the corner lies in disarray, a reflection of my fractured mind. Yoko's face hovers at the edge of vision, a constant presence, a reminder of what was and what might yet be. The space, this mutable prison, holds me in its grasp. I am the last person, the final voice in an endless silence. The light dims, the shadows deepen, and I wait. For Yoko to return, for the dead imagination to spark anew, for the cycle to begin again. In the darkness, I remain. A solitary figure in a space without end, without beginning. The walls whisper, the light flickers, and the monologue goes on. Imagination is a dead imagination, but in its death, there is a spark of something more. A hope, a dream, a memory of Yoko. And so, I wait, adrift in the void, for the echo of her presence, the light of a new beginning.